Hello guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to control a Servo using Arduino. And so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to connect up the Servo to the Arduino, and then I'm going to talk about everything about the Servo library. And then also at the very end of the video I'm going to be telling you something that you need to know if you're going to use servos in your Arduino projects. And so without further ado guys, let's get this video started. Okay, so now here are all the parts that I'm going to be using in this video. And so basically in this video, I'm going to be building a project that when we move the potentiometer, the servo will move as well. And so basically, I'm using this simple servo right here. You can use any type, doesn't matter what type of servo you use, they're pretty much all the same. And so basically, every single servo has 3 pins right here. And so basically, there is a pin that is brown. This one can be brown or black. And so basically, that pin is where you can connect ground to the servo. And then the middle pin is the positive pin, which is red, and that is supposed to supply positive voltage to the servo. And then the last pin, the orange pin, or sometimes yellow, that pin is the signal pin. And so basically, we'll go ahead and connect those pins up. And so basically, the fourth pin, the brown pin on my servo, it could be black on yours. And so I'm going to connect that to one of these G&D rails on here. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll connect our middle pin, which is the positive pin on the servo, to the positive rail right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect the signal pin, which is the orange wire, and I'm going to connect that to pin 9. And also feel free to move around this pin if you want on any other digital pins. And so basically, that is the servo connected. And so now I'm going to go ahead and connect this power supply. Now you may be wondering, why do I need to connect a power supply? And so basically, a servo is kind of on the limit of the maximum power that the Arduino can produce. And so we have to use another power supply that can provide more power. And this servo right here can run off the Arduino. But if we ever do actually start moving something more than just this little plastic piece, it will start using a little bit more power. That's when it does begin to get a little bit unsafe for the Arduino. You may break it if you run too much power through it, so it's best to use a power supply. And this is just a 5-volt power supply, since this servo can take up to 5 to 6 volts, and so this is just perfect for it. And so basically, all I'm going to do is plug this in here. So we have a positive and a negative rail right here, and we have a positive and negative connected to the servo. And so now one more thing we have to do here is we have to go ahead and connect the ground rail to one of the G&D pins on the Arduino. This is very, very crucial because there are 2 power supplies here, and the Arduino needs to send a signal to this servo. And so that signal is power basically. That power is planning to go somewhere like a ground, but it's not going to go to a ground to another power supply that it didn't come from. It's going to want to go back to the negative, the ground of the power supply that it came from, and that is the power supply to the Arduino Uno. And so we're going to have to connect the Arduino Uno ground into the breadboard. And so basically now I'm going to go ahead and connect our potentiometer right here, and I'm going to go ahead and plug it in right here. And there we go. And so then I'm going to go ahead and connect one side of the potentiometer. It doesn't matter what side, what farthest pin side you want. So I connected that to the 5-volt pin on the Arduino. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect the other side to G&D on the Arduino. And so then I'm going to go ahead and connect the middle pin, and this middle pin needs to go to pin A0. And so now you go ahead and plug power into your power supply. Now this cord is coming from like a phone charger power supplies. And also you can power this with a 12-volt battery with this jack. But I'm just going to use this right here, this USB port. And so, yeah, right here. And so basically all you have to do is press this button. This LED right here will turn on. And so basically now this has power. And so now all we have to do is go ahead and program the Arduino. And so first I want to explain some simple things about the servo library and just showing you how to get the servo working and stuff like that. And so basically the first thing we have here in this thing of code is we include our library. And so basically this is including the servo library. We don't need to download the servo library because when you download the Arduino IDE, it comes pre-installed in the libraries folder, so you don't have to download the servo library. The next line of code is the servo library requires you to actually name the servo that you have, because you can have multiple different servos. And so basically we name our servo 1, okay, right here, servo 1. And so the next line of code we do is define, and we are defining a pin, and that is going to be servo pin 9. We connected our servo to pin 9. So we're going to put the value pin 9 into servo pin. So then we'll go to the void setup, and we have servo 1, which is the name that we named our servo, and it's going to be .attach. And basically you have to give the attach function one parameter, and that parameter is the signal pin on the servo that you connected to. That pin that you connect to, you have to give that pin to the library. And so we put that pin number, pin 9, into servo pin. So we're going to put servo pin right here. And so basically the attach function basically tells the servo Servo library what pin Servo 1 is connected to, and that's connected to pin 9. And so basically that's all we have to do in the void setup. And so now we'll go to the void loop, and basically all we have to do is servo.write. That's all we have to do to get the servo to start moving, at least move to the spot where we want it to go. And so basically all we have to do is we have to specify what servo we're using. So we call the servo's name, and then we do write. This function means that we are going to tell Servo 1 that we want to go to some angle. And so basically this is using degrees, so 0 to 180. You can go anywhere in the range of that. You can dial it like to a 90-degree angle. It will go to a 90-degree angle. It's simple as that. So I just went to 180. And so right now my servo is at 0 degrees, and right when I download this code, it's going to go all the way to 180 degrees. So let's try that. Okay, so now here is the servo right here, and it's at 0 degrees. And so when we upload the code, it should go ahead and move to 180 degrees, which is over here. So it should move somewhere like over here. So it should turn around over here. Okay, so we can go ahead and upload the code. And there we go. So it moved all the way over there. And so basically that's what this does. And so now we're going to continue on with the tutorial. Okay, so now you just saw that, and so basically why I showed you that little bit of code is because I want to show you how simple it is to control the servo. It doesn't take much lines of code to actually start working with the servo. And so now I'm going to show you a little bit more code. And so basically we have the same things. We include our library, and then we name our servo. And so then we go down here, I say knob pin. And so basically we're defining something, which is the pin, and we're going to name it knob pin. And that pin that we are naming knob pin is going to be pin A0. So putting the value pin A0 into knob pin. And the thing that we connected to pin A0 was the middle pin of the potentiometer. And so that's where we're going to be reading the value of the potentiometer to see how we're moving the potentiometer. And so based on that, we can, start moving the servo. And so then we define our servo as well. It's the same pin 9. And then we do int new val, and then int old val, and then we do a value. And so basically what all this is basically, this is going to be a new value. So basically right when we read the potentiometer, that value is going to go into new values. And then after we have used it and stuff like that, we're going to put it into the old value variable. And then we're just going to start over. We're going to refresh the new value variable, and we're just going to continue going. And then the value variable is the actual degrees that we are going to send to the servo, the actual value that we are sending to the servo, which can be 180 degrees or 90 degrees or 0 degrees. And so then we go into our void setup. We go ahead and do pin mode, knob pin input. That is basically all potentiometer, and we're saying it's going to be an input. Then we do servo1.attach servo pin. Basically the same thing as we saw last time. Then we go into the void setup, and we say new val, and we make it equal to analog read, which is saying to Arduino, hey, we're reading to an analog pin, and that's going to be a knob pin, which is the potentiometer. And so it's going to read from the potentiometer, and it's going to put that value into new val. And so then now this next line isn't 100% necessary, nor is these variables right here, these variables that I set up. You don't need this if statement and stuff like that. But the reason is because I don't want to constantly keep on writing to the servo. It's just me, because I find that the servo isn't making as much noise as it is when we're just constantly writing to it over and over and over and over again. What the if statement's doing is it's just deciding, hey, we're going to only write to the servo when the value actually changes, once we start actually moving the potentiometer. If it does, then we go in and we actually tell the servo to start moving again. But you don't need to constantly keep on writing the servo over and over and over again, just saying the same value. But anyway, so I just put an if statement right here, and if value old is not equal to value new, basically if the older value, the previous value, is not equal to the new value, that means we are starting to change the potentiometer. And so then we come in here, we say val is equal to map, and basically what the map function is the analog pins has a value in between 0 and 1023. And here, the servo requires a value between 0 and 180. And so we can't just decide just to say, okay, whatever value we get from the analog pins, we give it to the servo. We can't do that because they're different values. And so the map function allows it to be able to convert the current value from the analog pins and convert that into degrees. Basically, I get my variable right here, that the current value that we got from all potentiometer. We're going to give that the map function all variable, and then it's going to ask us, okay, well, what's the minimum value that this value is going to be? And what the minimum value that the analog pins can give us is 0. So we're going to say 0. What's the maximum value the analog pins can give us? And that is 1023. And then what's the minimum value we want to convert to? And that would be 0. And what's the maximum value we want to convert to? And that's 180, since the servo is working in degrees. And so then after that, the map function will calculate that all up and put that value into the value variable. And so we say servo1.write. We already seen this function, and it means basically we're giving this a value so it can move to that specific degree that we gave it. So then down here, after we come out of the if statement, we make old val equal to new val, because now we're about to come up to the top of the loop and refresh new val. So we have to give the new value, that value is starting to get old, so we have to give that value to the old value and then refresh the new value. And so basically that is all of this code. And so now we're going to go and look at the project. Okay, so now here we are. We have our solver right here and we have our potentiometer over here. We're going to go ahead and move the potentiometer and see if the solver starts moving. So there you go. See, as I move the potentiometer, the solver moves as well. And so basically that is the project here. Okay, so now we're about wrapping up the video, but I want to explain something very, very important that you need to know about the Servo library. And so basically the important thing that you need to know about the Servo library is that it actually disables 2 pins of their PWM. Okay, so basically 2 pins based on your Arduino Uno. If you go ahead and start using the Servo library, pin 9 and pin 10 are going to be disabled of PWM. So might as well just go ahead and use the solver on those. That's why I hooked one to pin 9, because that's actually one of the ones that are disabled with PWM. On the Arduino Mega, it's a little bit different. You have to actually reach up to a certain amount of solvers you're using. I forgot how many solvers you have to be using. It's like somewhere around like 20 solvers you can use it until actually some of the pins that provide PWM begin to be disabled. Thank you for watching the video. It would be great if you can subscribe to the channel. I talk all about Arduino. Like in the video, comment down below if you have any questions. Thank you all, guys. Have a great day. Bye.